It's Sunday, the first Sunday of 2024, and it is time for my mental health vlog. Just got back this morning from the cruise. I absolutely need several more days off for recovery. I'm really glad I took tomorrow off from work because it's just been, when you have several days of burning the candle at both ends and day drinking, it wears you out. I am not the young, spry person that could have handled that many years ago. I had some really interesting observations and realizations on the cruise. And so we met this couple on the Facebook group for the cruise before we actually got on the boat. And then we met them again on the boat, and they seemed like a really nice couple, fun to hang out with at first, and we were just really enjoying their company. And then one of them got kind of drunk and got kind of sloppy and handsy, and the way that they interacted with each other, it was very eye-opening for me. And I'm going to say as much as I can without trying to insult people. I got a bird's eye view of what it was like to hang out with my ex and I in a social or party situation. And I saw it because there was one person who was so touchy, so handsy, so desperate for any ounce of attention or affection or intimacy of any kind, because he was basically being starved of it. And you had one person in the relationship that is using sex and rules and relationship as control and power. Like, it's very transactional. And there were just so many moments where I was like, holy shit, that was my ex and I. And like I said, it was very eye-opening to see it from an outside perspective. I'm not sure I would have really seen it a year or two ago if I were in the same situation, but having spent the time really going back and analyzing things from my past and my past relationship, because the relationship was not like one person's fault. I mean, there were absolutely negatives and positives on both sides of that relationship. But man, like, there was one afternoon where one of them got really drunk and really handsy, and actually I had already set my limit with him, a few times. And I'm like, and at one point I grabbed his hand, I squeezed it really tight, and I said his name very sternly, and I looked him in his eye, and as if to say, this is your last warning. And then the other one was like, oh, laughy apologetic for it, which again, I see it, I cannot tell you how many times I saw my ex and I in this couple on the boat. And then like the next day, the one that was all drunk and handsy was very solemn, very sad. And I looked at him and I'm like, I know exactly what conversation was had. I know exactly what techniques and tips were used to make you feel bad. And I know exactly what manipulation was done to help keep you in check and keep you in line. I didn't say it to them, but I'm like, I know I know the exact conversation that was had. It's just, it really was eye-opening. I wish I had written down every single thing that reminded me of the two of us, but it really was eye-opening. And in seeing that, it gave me an opportunity to identify more people to put on my amends list. People that we hung out with socially that I may have been too sexually aggressive with or too flirty with, or honestly probably just need to apologize for the way that my ex and I acted as a couple in front of them. So it was very eye-opening. Now I do want to say this disclosure. I met these people for a week. They could be having an off week. They could be the most perfect, wonderful couple, except for this week. So I in no way, shape, or form want to completely bash this couple that I just met, because they were lovely people. But I still have to recognize the fact that what I saw on the ship was almost like a VHS copy or movie of seeing my ex and I in any kind of setting like that, where I was out of control because I am emotionally and physically starved and affectionately starved, and then I'm made to feel horrible for trying to get it, because that's the control imbalance. It was very much a transactional relationship, or it gave off that transactional relationship, which is kind of what I feel like my ex and I ended on. So again, lovely people. They're local. I really hope that we get to hang out with them more, and I really hope that I get the opportunity to see that maybe they're different on land. So we'll see. That being said, we did make a couple friends on the boat, and we found ourselves gravitating more towards the couples where both people in the relationship actually like each other. And with that particular one couple, it didn't seem like they really liked each other very much. Again, just an observation from just a very small period of their relationship. So, but we definitely enjoyed hanging out with the people that were just fun, and they enjoyed each other. Like my fiance and I, we love each other. I love hanging out with him. It's so much fun cruising with him, napping, just doing whatever that we want, and just taking it easy. And I mean, this week was a lot of self-care. I mean, just sitting in the shade on the deck of the dock, or the deck of the boat, and just, he was reading and I was drawing, and we were just next to each other, and that's intimacy. I mean, that's really is. So it was a really wonderful trip, and I love cruising with him. But we enjoyed couples that enjoyed each other, that liked each other. And I can only think how there are similarities in my parents' relationship where other people may not have enjoyed hanging out with them as much because of how their dynamic impacted or affected those around them. But there's a similarity there. I'm very proud to say that I brought money home from the casino. I had some onboard credit from Carnival, because they pay me to cruise, and I had a set amount of money that I was taking to gamble with, and that set amount of money, I ended up winning a bonus that was basically equal to my budget. So I set half of that aside, because I hadn't been really lucky up until then. So I set half of that aside. So basically, I brought home half of my gambling budget, and I did that on my own. I managed my own money this trip. I didn't have my fiance manage my money. I absolutely could have. He absolutely would have, because I had struggled with managing my money at the casino before. But it was much better controlled this trip. I was very cognizant of how much I was spending, what I was spending, if the machine was paying out. I wasn't just zoned out and hitting buttons. I had conversations with people around me. I just took the time to really enjoy the experience, not just max bet, which I didn't do max bet because I can't afford max bet. But very proud to be coming home with half of my budget for gambling. That's a really big deal for me. I hope Carnival still sends me offers, because I like free cruises. Please send me more. Actually, I gotta send in a survey. Although this cruise was wonderful and this vacation was wonderful, and I love spending time with my fiance. I had a wonderful time on the boat. I had a wonderful time on the off the boat at the ports. My only complaint, and unfortunately, this was a complaint I heard a lot on the boat. There were a series of issues that were just not working in Carnival's favor. The internet was very, very shoddy, which people paid for the internet package. So, of course, they're not able to fully utilize something that they're paying for. There's a $5 chat tool that you can use to chat with other people on the ship through the Carnival app. That was terribly inconsistent and just in working, and it was down more than half the time. No, people were getting messages, and people were very upset because they depend on that to communicate with their party throughout the boat, which it's pretty critical. The food was so bland across the boat. We had different restaurants. Like, there were a couple things we had that were really good, which was nice, but it was like, it was either, it was, oh, it's really, really good, or it, ugh. I remember at one point I was using so much salt on something just to get a flavor out of it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to eat this because this just got too much salt on it, because it's like this much salt to get this much salt flavor. It was so bad. Anyway, they were trying new menu formats on a couple of new boats, and we were a test one for that. No one seemed to really care for that. They've replaced the, like, when you, the doors that you walk up to, like, you walk up to the door and it opens up. Well, now they don't have that anymore. They have hand sensors like 3 feet away from the door in each direction. Well, by the time you've walked up to the door expecting it to open, you have to go back 3 feet and do the thingy. So, like, that, no one was a fan of that. Service was really bad. You know, the stewards were nice, but the service staff was seriously lacking. Like, I don't know if they were just understaffed, or if there was a breakout of some kind of virus or something, or I just don't know what the issue was. For example, a lot of people get a casino reward, which is drinks in the casino. So as long as you're in the casino playing, you have free drinks. Well, you only get those free drinks if a server comes to you and takes your order, because if you go to the bar in the casino, you don't get the benefit. They have to come to you. Well, you've got a casino full of people, and I mean, there were days where I saw like 2, maybe 3 bar staff that were floating around, and every spot in the casino was full. So definitely understaffed there. And attitudes of a lot of service people. And I'm not trying to be, you know, snarky or a Karen or anything, but I've done like 7 or 8 Carnival cruises, and I know what to expect. And a lot of people were kind of put off by a lot of things on this Carnival cruise. So I hope that that Carnival takes the opportunity to kind of review this particular ship and this particular crew and see what's up. That it's not the Carnival standard that, you know, I've come to expect. Even though my last cruise was Royal Caribbean, and that totally spoiled me. So I acknowledge that. I'm like, okay, I have to compare it to other Carnival cruises, not the last cruise I had, because that was a really good one. My son, my ex sent me a message today. He's like, by the way, your son is in a 26-28 pant and a 7.5 wide men's shoe. So my son is officially in men's sizes. Now, what's funny, mind you, is that he's 5'1", 5'2", maybe. I don't think he's 5. I'm not sure he's even 5'1" yet. And he has a 28 inseam. My ex, his other dad, is 6'3", and has a 29-inch inseam. So my son's inseam is only 1 inch shorter than his dad's at 11 years old. I find that funny. I am glad to be home. I'm grateful to be home. Glad I took tomorrow off from work. I'm gonna, you know, go through some Christmas decorations and start taking stuff down, because, you know, everyone else has their stuff down. Ours is still up. But this was a really awesome vacation, and it was so cool because last week I spent so much time reflecting on the past, and then to have this consistent slap in the face of, this is what you used to look like to other people. This is what y'all used to look like to other people. So for any of you that I've ever offended, I'm very sorry, and I will absolutely try to make amends up personally. But you continue to grow, and in that growth, you continue to remember and uncover and unpack, and you discover new things. I'm still discovering stuff when I dig in the crevices of my brain archives. So I hope you all had a wonderful New Year's. I hope your hangovers weren't too bad, and that your email boxes weren't too bad when you went back to work. I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday, and that you have something wonderful to look forward to in 2024. Check on your friends, make sure they're doing okay, they survived the New Year's. Check on your loved ones. Check on yourself. Give yourself some time for some self-care, because if you're not good to yourself, you're not good for anybody else. All right, guys, I will see you next week.